Hey guys, Dan Heilman back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the biggest liquidation event in history. What happened? From what we know, there's some guesses on what could have happened, but it was the biggest liquidation event in literal history and multiple times worse than it's ever been. So what do I expect to happen in the next couple of weeks and how I am preparing? So let's go. First of all, here is the Bitcoin chart. You can see, boom, massive wick down, massive selling, lots of forced liquidations. I did get one of my accounts liquidated. Thankfully, I don't hold all of my crypto or assets in one account on the same exchange. I recommend that, have a multitude of different assets and different exchanges to protect yourself from fully losing everything. I know a lot of people did, at least from what people are saying on X. So Bitcoin, big dump. Not even that big, honestly, on Bitcoin, right? So this whole big move starting Friday was a total of 10%. Insane, right? For the biggest liquidation event in history. But and then if we look at other altcoins, it's much worse. We'll look at some of those. We'll look at some other info on what potentially happened. But another thing is wicks usually get filled. They don't have to get fully filled. They can get partially filled. So I'm kind of expecting, here's a pump. Maybe we get another dump down. Now we did pretty much fill this wick already. So here's the wick on Bitcoin and we filled basically the whole thing, right? So that one looks like maybe it doesn't need to go down any further. Ethereum, a big wick. I usually say that, 50% of the wick probably gets filled. Ethereum kind of did this, right? 50% of the wick pretty much filled here. We could come back, retest the bull market support band. That is definitely possible. Litecoin, what happened here? Big wick. It depends on the exchange, right? So this is Coinbase. Some of the exchanges went down to like $50. I did purchase a big chunk of Litecoin. I don't know, basically kind of where we're at right now, somewhere in this range right here. Another one that I was holding, Neo, is holding up quite good. This is like kind of the Chinese Ethereum. Dot was another one I had a leverage trade on. This one got absolutely wrecked, was looking very strong, and now not so good. Some of them went down a lot. Sui, massively. Atom was one that was just absolutely annihilated. So what happened here? All right, so here we go. Orange wizard of tariffs immediately halves your portfolio. That's what happened. Is it really the tariffs that had anything to do with this? No, of course not. There's a lot of speculation on what happened, but this was the biggest liquidation event in history by a long shot. And some people are saying that there was DDoS attacks on things like CoinGlass, so it didn't even really register the actual amount of liquidations. Some exchanges are kind of helping give some of the losses back. So if you did get a massive liquidation event from leverage trading, contact support and just ask if there's anything they can do. Maybe you'll be happily surprised. So we'll see what happens there. But COVID 1.2, FTX 1.6 today, at least 20 billion. Some people are saying 40 to 60 billion dollars. Who knows what the actual thing was, because I don't know if there was some DDoS attacks, but there's, a lot of things happened that was pretty crazy. Atom, someone bought Atom for 0.001 cents, right? That's insane. Less than a penny. They bought Atom and were up massively. So sometimes it pays off to have those stink bids, as they're called, where you just have a limit long or a limit spot order to just pick up a bunch of spot near the bottom. Now, it's kind of insane how perps can push down price so far so quickly, especially when they're not actually selling spot. It's kind of crazy to me. I was talking to Grok for a while about it. It's just kind of interesting that it's basically like a betting pool and there's no spot trading even really held, right? So in this, it's just kind of like you can sell more on leverage than is even owned by the exchange, and you could potentially buy more than is owned by the exchange, but they may, basically say, we're not giving it to you. So that's kind of how it works for exchanges. But stink bids are good. A lot of these got filled. You could put orders way down, but it's pretty insane. If you think it's a coincidence, think again. The crypto sell-off started moments after the U.S. market closed. I know every time I hear from Trump, I have an announcement on Friday at 5 p.m. I should just sell everything I own right that second and then, just plan to buy back lower. Because every time he does this, this is what happens. On Friday, while Asia and Europe were asleep, the oracles mysteriously all misfired prices that caused the liquidation to cascade. So oracles basically hold the US dollar pricing. So I'll talk about that. Apparently, there's just an oracle database that transmits that price to all the exchanges. And if one of the big exchanges says the price is zero, then that gets transmitted everywhere, and the prices can just spike down, apparently, if that's how I understand it. That's how I understand it, if that's actually what it means. The market maker system glitched and weren't creating efficient liquidity. The large exchanges had user access, so people couldn't buy the dip. And then data sites like CoinGlass mysteriously hacked at the same time, so there's no data. Highly coordinated, well executed attack. I don't know if this was China because of the tariffs and they want to, I don't know, put a stab at us here because, Trump is saying, I'm trying to make America the crypto capital of the world. I don't know if this was that. Who knows? This could have been Binance. It could have just been market makers. It could have been just a total accident, but it kind of seems like foul play was happening here. Another one here from Marty Party. Continued education. There is no concept of dollars on blockchains. The price of a crypto token is stored on a central database on each of the 1,600 exchanges that allows you to trade their proxy crypto for bank dollars. These 1,600 prices are aggregates and stored on oracles. I deal with Oracle databases at work all the time. It's just a database that transmit, data. So that's all an Oracle database is. Which blockchains ask for dollar pricing? Only when you ask to withdraw the crypto to your self-custody wallet do they actually have to send you crypto. Until then, it's no different than banks, right? Banks don't hold your US dollars, they lend them out, they buy things, they do whatever. And until you pull it out, now you actually have your money. There is no regulation on all of this because a lot of these are, in random countries around the world with no regulations. Understand this. All the fraud, scamming, manipulation, and crime happens on the dollar exchange side of the pair. The blockchain is transparent and public. It has pristine hygiene and should be the financial standard. I know. So really, the US dollar pair doesn't mean much because it's all just a database that can be manipulated, right? So if I'm Binance, I could just say the price of Atom is 0, and there it goes. Now it's 0. So pretty insane. A prominent Oracle provider just admitted there's no regular, no auditor, no verification of the price of an asset they receive from weighted crypto exchanges. Now, I'm sure it's like an average of all of them or something like that. It depends on what exchange, how far the price went down, right? Because how thick the order books were. They broadcast it to every DEX because DEX is not just, this is, again, it goes to everything, right? So all of these are kind of averaged together, and that's the pricing for everything. DApp, decentralized app, exchange, and endpoint in the cryptoverse. The entire perp future market is built on this data. So if an exchange sends a price of 0 for Bitcoin, they will gladly transmit that data to the entire system, including Hyperliquid, without verifying it. Seems like a single point of failure to me. Insane. Another thing, Kobayashi here said, we've spent the last 10 months analyzing every single tariff development. This has happened many times. Trump puts out cryptic post on tariffs coming for a specific country. The market drifts lower. Trump announces the tariff rate. It's really large and the markets crash to shake out weak positions. Dip buyers step in, but head fake rally leads to fresh lows where money starts, where smart money begins buying. After the market closes on Friday, President Trump doubles down on new tariffs to apply more pressure, crashes cryptocurrencies because it's the only thing open on the weekend. On Saturday, the target of the new tariff typically responds or comments. On Sunday, before the futures open, Trump posts an announcement saying he is working on a solution. This literally happened on Sunday again. And there was people who literally ended their life over this. So it's really unfortunate that these games are played. But anyways, futures opens on sharply higher 6 p.m., but begins losing momentum. Again, Sunday, it opened higher. Monday, we opened higher even again on the SPY. I'll show that in a minute. After Monday open, Treasurer Secretary reassures investors over the next 2 to 4 weeks, various members of the Trump administration tease a trade deal. Trump announces a new trade deal and the stock market hits a record high. Repeat from step 1. This has happened multiple times. Part of our strong year-to-date performance comes from following this exact playbook. I'm sure he's just buying these and then assuming it's going to be a taco deal. I don't even know what taco means, but basically, reneging on it. So that's what we got going on here. Again, things are crashing over the weekend, and now they're coming back. We'll see what happens here. SPY, it opened with a gap up. This gap could get filled down here. It doesn't have to get filled. There's been other gaps in the daily that have not get filled. So you can see there's a big gap between the open and the close here. It happened here, and then it got filled. But it did happen where was one I found? Like here, right? So we gapped up, and then this has never been filled yet. Now, Could we come down and fill that? Yeah, we absolutely could. And we could fill them in the bear market, but gaps usually get filled. Another thing that's happening is eventually CME will not be closed on the weekend. So that'll help with these gaps. If we go to the daily, there is a gap. Whoa. There is a gap going on. You can see CME gap was here, got filled, etc. Now there is a CME gap to the upside. So this was all a big gap. You can see, but the candle close, candle open, when there's a gap in between these bodies, this is the body, the thick part, the wick is the thin part. So this is the gap that is now above us that we could fill, right? Ethereum had some similar performance down to the bull market support band. Everyone doubted Ben Cohen from Into the Cryptoverse, and it turns out we did have it, whatever, a 30% drop. Was that about what it was? Let's see. Yeah, about a 30% drop right into the bull market support band. So again, I think wicks might get filled. Some of them, they don't have to all get filled, especially for ones that went down like crazy, like ENA, for example. I mean, this is a massive wick. This was one of the positions I held, and it just wrecked me. This is probably what got my account liquidated, was ENA and what was the other one? Neo. I mean, the wick on this was just insane, right? So 70% drops on these coins, which is just insane. Fartcoin got a massive wick too. I mean, 90% drop in Fartcoin. I did pick up some more Fartcoin down here at about 37 cents. I don't know. I didn't pick up a lot, and I picked it up on spot, right? So Morpho was one that is doing extremely, like some of them just bounce right back up, right? So Morpho, this is the one that for the lending platform on Coinbase, it wicked all the way down here and literally pumped up 275%, and it's back trading above where the dump was. So anything that bounced back extremely strong is showing strength, right? Binance Coin, of course, the crime lord himself. Binance does do a lot of the market dumping and market making. A lot of the liquidations do, in my opinion, originate from Binance. So yeah, again, I've tapped another all-time high, which is insane. Solana, nice little dump down, and is now back above the bull market support band. That's good to see. So a lot of them, Doge had a quite a big wick as well, you know, down 50% on Coinbase, and it is back testing the bull market support band. So again, what do I think is going to happen? I don't think that we're, you know, done with the bull market. I don't think we're going, you know, for our 80% drop that we normally get about this time. We did now reject off this support that goes back quite a long time. If I go on like the weekly here, if I draw lines between, you know, the top of the wicks is this top line, and then through the weekly close is this bottom line. So this is big support and has been big support and resistance here. You can see we've rejected off this point like 1, 2, 3, maybe this is the 4th time. I don't think Bitcoin is going to go back below the bull market support band, in my opinion. I mean, anything is possible, obviously. We could still come down to this red moving average down here. And, you know, this has been very large support. So, I mean, we could come down to about $101,000. But if we start closing weekly candles below this moving average, the bull market's over, and I'll probably be selling everything. So you can see here's a weekly close, nothing below it. But if we get 1 to 2 closes below it, it's gone. If you do want to try this indicator, it's totally free. I publish all these indicators for free because I know a lot of people have like the smaller version of TradingView, and they don't get to have a bunch of indicators. So if you just search DHYT, you'll see my indicators here. So I'm putting everything under this. I've published this one and the moon cycles indicator so far. I'm working on some other ones just for fun. I think it's fun to create indicators, but feel free to go use this if you want. This is the bull market support band, which is a lot of support. This is a moving average that happens a lot, and is quite good here. So yeah, that's what we pretty much got going on. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's see what else is going on real quick before we get out of here. USDT, massive wick, people moving into stable coins. Who is looking the best here in like Bitcoin pairs? ETH Bitcoin on the daily had a dump supported by the bull market support band. That's good to see, right? Sol Bitcoin is kind of fighting for its life in the bull market support band. Binance don't care about anyone or anything. Litecoin was looking amazing, holding above the bull market support band, and boom, a massive wick that is actually insane. I think we did have another one of these at one point. We've seen some really big wicks. Like here's a massive wick that ended up going lower. This is the one I was kind of remembering. One of them was like insane. Maybe I was on the weekly. Let's see here. I don't know. Anyways, there's some big wicks that usually mean full capitulation, and now it's time to go up only. I mean, that's one possibility as well. So if we go here and we look at the FOMO finder, it basically went into full fear again, panic, whatever it is on here. There's fear, there's panic, depending on which indicators you're using for fear and greed. We're still in uncertainty, meaning most people are actually short here. So I think people, are short. Yesterday it was panic, and people are shorting after we've already dropped massively, which is never a good plan. When we drop, crazy like this, it's time to long. And when we pump crazy, if you want to short, feel free, but we're in a bull market. I don't really like shorting that often. Total, big drop, big wick. Look at the wick from Total. Oh my God. So if you go like Total ES, this one is excluding stable coins. Look at the wick on this. Oh my God, that's insane. All right. So down basically 23%. Most of this is everything. Total crypto market cap, excluding stable coins. So it's actually the real currencies instead of just the dollar pegged ones. Massive wick down, but guess what? Supported by this, and now we're closing above the bull market support band. So if we even zoom out here, you can see, damn, that is a crazy wick. I mean, that is a crazy wick. We had another wick like this kind of over here, and as you can see, we kind of filled half of that wick. So could we come back down and test the bull market support band again? Yeah, we could, and I think that's a good spot to bid. I don't think we're done for the year. I still think we have all-time highs left in Bitcoin and plenty of altcoins. Now that's my opinion based on multiple things. I just don't think it's over yet. And I think this capitulation event was kind of a great way to kind of clear all the leverage so that we're now basically free to go back up. So that's what I think happened here, and I'm going to stick to it, and I'm putting my money where my mouth is and continuing to be long here. We'll see what happens. A lot of these got massively damaged. Some altcoins may never recover from this, smaller coins. It's mostly the ones that had perp markets, right? If the real small coins that did not have perp markets. Anyways, that's going to be it for the video. If you do want to try a new exchange, Bitunix still has 2 more days on this event here. All you need to do is deposit some money and you get 20% bonus back, and you just got to trade one time. So again, low leverage trades, especially after what happened. But once you have these big liquidation events, they're usually not going to continue liquidating in that same direction, because most people now just want to be short. They think the bull market's over. So it might be a good time to long. And again, you can use this exchange to buy spot if you want. So it's also a great exchange. Very low fees, even lower fees if you use my link. And it has no KYC if you just want to start an account real quick. So that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Have a great day, everyone. And that's it for the video. See you guys.